We are experiencing a complete decline in chain sit-down restaurants like TGI Fridays, Outback, Red Lobster. All of those are losing tons of money, closing lots of different locations. And it's not just about food. I want to explain how this trend reveals something really profound about how our relationship with community is changing and likely getting worse. Casual dining chains, places where middle class families could walk in without a reservation and have a meal at a relatively affordable price, have been in a steady decline throughout the 21st century. Last year alone, I think TGI Fridays and Red Lobster filed for bankruptcy. And this isn't necessarily just about Americans spending less money at restaurants. We're actually still spending the same amount as ever, studies have shown, but we're seeing trends where people are buying food made by restaurants and eating it elsewhere. So like the rise of these specific kind of to-go chains like Sweetgreen, Cava, through delivery apps, through drive-throughs, takeout services, those have become ingrained habits, and those have risen at the sacrifice of these other chain sit-down restaurants. And these restaurants have traditionally provided a third space for a lot of communities. These social environments kind of separate from your home or your work, where communities can form, social capital develops. Maybe you're meeting people at these places. Maybe you're just having more bonding time with your family. And the decline of these restaurants represents not just a changing in dining preferences, but a fundamental shift in like how we're building connections. Like if most of the way that we consume food is walking into a place, grabbing a to-go bag, walking back to our apartment alone and eating it, or just getting it delivered straight to our door, that radically is different in the way that we interact with other people and build community and are just outside of the home. When you go out to a restaurant and sit down, yeah, it can be a little bit more annoying. Sometimes the food's delayed. You obviously have to interact with a lot of different people, like the waiter, the hostess, maybe the people sitting around you. But that is building kind of weak community ties that can actually end up being very strong and good for your mental well-being, compared to ordering delivery where you're just clicking a bunch of things on a phone and someone comes and drops the food off. Half the time you don't even see the delivery person, and it's a very isolated experience, and it can erode our feeling of community around us. And another piece is that, yes, people are still eating out, but when these kind of more affordable chains become priced out, certain groups of people, like middle and lower income people, will eat out less if the only other option is more expensive dining options. Something I also want to add about the rise of apps is that we all have a diminished capacity now for sustained, uninterrupted engagement. Like we are constantly distracted due to social media, due to all the notifications on our phones, and the time of a sit-down meal feels increasingly costly in the market of digital distraction. Like for a lot of people, they cannot sit for an unsustained amount of time and eat a meal. Like they just have to have their phone kind of with them. They have to be watching something at the same time that they're eating. And so what is so significant about all this is that it accelerates the autonomization of social experience. So when meals become about individual consumption rather than a shared social ritual, which historically they have been a shared ritual, you typically are eating with other people, we are losing very important opportunities for connection that our psychological well-being really depends on. And obviously, some of these chains, whether you like the food or not, it's about recognizing how changes in consumption patterns reflect and reinforce shifts in how we experience community. And as these communal spaces disappear, we need to be intentional about creating new opportunities for genuine human connection. And if you're interested in how consumer behavior, money psychology interacts with cultural and social issues, I write about this all the time in my newsletter. You can sign up in the link in my bio.